Hi there, how's it going? This Knowledge 21 video will explain a common doubt raised by certified Scrum product owner groups, Agile Contracts. This is a subject which, especially during PO classes, people often ask about because we talk about open scope and flexible scope, the difficulty of estimating when the whole product will be ready, precisely because of the lack of knowledge of the whole product, and these come up time and again in class. Deep down, the biggest problem with traditional waterfall management projects is if you think about what is known at the time, the moment people make estimates is precisely when they know little or nothing about what needs to be done. In other words, the green dot, the starting point. The team will learn with time, the PO will learn with time what needs to be done, but the worst moment to make an estimate is precisely at the outset. So it's very difficult to work with traditional clients because they want a date. I want to know when this is going to be ready, so it's not easy. One way of dealing with these clients is a contract model, which always shows a very good result. Let's say you sit down with a client to develop a software, and he says, "This is my business problem." The team discusses the problem and, after a quick inception process, they define the product's vision. Then, don't forget that at this moment they know little or nothing about what will need to be done. The team figures that this job will take about 4 months to finish. So basically, it'll be 4 months of work on the contract. But let's be clear, contract management by the hour is hopeless. All those timesheets are so difficult because they are inefficient. They take so long, and in fact, all they do is cause stress and problems. So what do? The best thing is to sell sprint. It's better because the management is so much more efficient. 4 months' work, which will be about 16 sprints, and the price per sprint will be X. Pricing by X sprints is ideal for getting an idea of cost. Sprints have fixed time boxes, so it's much easier selling sprint. To find out how much was spent on a project, all you do is look at the calendar. No need to look at the timesheet or control anyone. So in this example, let's say the team has designed the vision, done the inception, and come to the conclusion that to make this specific product will take 4 months. And just to make the calculation easy, these 4 months relate to 40,000. So in fact, there will be 4 payments of 10,000, one a month. Of course, several sprints will be activated during these 4 months, and, obviously, the clients and stakeholders should take part in the review meeting to get feedback, bring visibility and transparency about how things are going, as well as, obviously, promoting all the changes and improvements the product deserves and which were agreed. This is absolutely natural. So, let's say that at the end of 4 months of offering visibility, the client is pleased with the result. If the client is satisfied with the result, it's easy. The client pays 40,000 and everything's fine. The client is happy and everything went the way the team wanted it to. But what if at the end of the 3rd month, the client is already really satisfied? He looks at the backlog, and obviously a good PO will point this out too, and the client says, "Look, from here on in, I see no more value." The PO will sit down with the client and say, "Look, considering the backlog, I think you won't be needing these functionalities through to the end." So the client is happy, but the team is halting production early. The client has already settled 30,000 and still has 10,000 to pay. In this case, we have 2 choices. The first is to split the outstanding amount. The client will pay a total 35,000, and the team will get a bonus of 5,000. In other words, they'll earn 5,000 without working. Obviously, this scenario may have a negative impact on the team structure, because if the interruption of the project is agreed at the last minute, the team may be left without work. But of course, during the last sprints, a good PO is already talking to the client to find out the best stopping point. So this bonus will really be a bonus. There will be 5,000 without working. And in fact, the team will be working on another project. So that's the first choice. The second is to tell the client there is still another month to go and request another product so the team doesn't work on things with no value and use that month to do things with high value and generally increase the client's ROI. Another possibility is this. The contract terminates, but the team hasn't yet finished the job. There are still things to be done. Why? Because the product's vision changed along the way, and new functionality ideas emerged, etc. Time is up. The client is pleased, but thinks there is still work to be done. In this case, the client can pay per additional sprint. It'll be in the contract. The sale of 16 sprints for $40,000 and additional sprints at a cost of X. In fact, normally, because they are outside the package, additional sprints can cost a little more. That's only natural in business. However, let's say at the end the client isn't satisfied. This means the team didn't do a good job, was below par, the client is unhappy, and the team didn't achieve the vision in the set time. Obviously, the likelihood of this happening isn't very great if the team is using Scrum properly, if it's a good team, if there's a good Scrum Master, if there's a good PO, because one can change the flexible scope in order to remove items of little or no value so that the team uses its time efficiently and delivers high value in a short time. But let's imagine the possibility that this does happen. The team can work for free. That's no problem. It's in the contract. If at the end of the contract and things are not well, the client isn't happy because the team didn't achieve the vision, then the PO has failed, the team has failed, and the job must be completed for free. 1, 2, 3 sprints, however many are in the contract. That's how it works. This way of handling the contract makes the client's participation in the whole process very important, makes the PO follow the development of the product very closely, so there's an excellent relationship with the stakeholders and with who's paying, and at the same time, it helps the team develop a relationship with the client, working very closely, which is very like what one studies in services marketing, and basically what you find in IT. So these ideas about contracts which are given in class get very good feedback. A disclaimer: never offer this to someone who's coming to work with your team for the first time, because perhaps this client won't yet understand the mindset. There isn't the trust yet. There must be trust to work in this way. Trust is built with transparency and responsibility. The objective is to build a lasting relationship with the client based on trust. And this way of doing a contract, although very difficult to be accepted at first, will really help get you to this scenario.